Is the Christian God the only God there is? The answer is no. But there's more to this topic that many people in churches doesn't usually discuss. That there are more gods mentioned in the Bible. If you're expecting us to talk about other gods or other religions like Buddhism, Judaism, Islam, or any other religions, you're mistaken. We're going to talk about something different. The gods that the Bible actually tells us about. You need to stay until the end to find out about this. For us Christians, there's only one God. But what if I told you that this is the only half-truth? It would be wrong to ignore that the Bible explicitly says there are other gods. And it also tells us not to worship any other gods beside Him, because He's the one true God. But what are these gods mentioned in the Bible? The first God that we're gonna talk about is Satan. And the Bible actually tells us that Satan is a god. In 2 Corinthians 4 verse 4, it says, Satan is the god of this world. So he's called a god. We have the god of this universe and we have the god of this world. But what does that mean? Let's first define what the word God means. Here are two definitions from Google. In Christianity and other monotheistic religions, the creator and the ruler of the universe and source of all moral authority, a supreme being. In certain other religions, a superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes, a deity. As we can see in the definition, it says ruler, someone who has authority or a supreme being, a deity, or one who has power over nature. So, keep this in mind. Satan is called the god of this world. If you look around, there are things happening in this world that are truly evil and disgustingly ungodly. There are the Epstein files, there are people doing ungodly things, and there are people worshipping the devil. We already know the kind of evil that exists in this world, which is why Satan is described as the ruler of this world. But we, you and me, are the salt and the light of this world. As a salt, we preserve what's good when everything else is rotten. And as the light, we show that the God of this world only has control over the darkness. But we have control over our light. So, we've established that Satan is the God of this world. That's one God down. There are two more that we'll discuss. And if you find this content valuable and you want to see more, like and subscribe would be appreciated. Also, comment down below what you think. The next one we're gonna talk about is about us. Wait a minute, what do you mean us? Do you mean that we're gods? My answer is yes. But wait, let me explain this thoroughly. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and He also created man. Man was placed in the garden as a caretaker of it. There He named all animals, ate all fruits, and He'd been with Eve. And if you're wondering how long they were staying in the garden, the answer is pretty spectacularly long. I have a video you can watch so you can get in-depth knowledge about Adam and Eve. And in the Garden of Eden, it is there where he can eat from the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, ask yourself, why did God put both of those trees there? Why not place one somewhere else in the garden or hide it? Here's the point I'm trying to make. When Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, what did God say? Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. The man has become like one of us. He became like God. But what's missing? It's the tree of life. After they sinned, they were cast out of the garden, so they wouldn't have the chance to eat from the tree of life, because it would grant them life and immortality. In conclusion, God intended for us to be like Him, but in His way. And the serpent also said we would be like God, but the difference is we did it in our own way, not God's way. You and I were meant to be like God, and in a sense, to become like gods. But don't let it enter your heart or mind that you are God, because that's where Satan fell and where Eve first sinned. Satan is the god of this world, and we've already discussed two gods. Now, I'm gonna talk about the third. The third god is the things that we treat as gods. The definition of a god is someone or something that has authority over something. Something that rules over something. And that something can be things we hold in our heart. What are those things? They are material things, money, fame, sex, houses, cars, achievements. These can become another God that has control over you and over us. Focusing on these things makes them your God because they rule over you. They have authority over you and they control you. We strive to get these things and acquire those things, or do everything in our power to be able to have these things. And you spend all day and all night and all your life trying to acquire all these things, and you end up worshiping them without even realizing it. And it makes the real God in heaven jealous, and it grieves his heart. But that's not right. We shouldn't focus on this world and the things of this world and the God of this world, because we should look at the things that are above, the things that do not rot, the things that are in heaven above.